Seated comfortably in a spread knee Vajarasan with spine upright, shoulders tucked back of the head in line with the spine, eyes gently closed. We come into a twist where we bring our right palm on our left knee, bringing the shoulders parallel to the wall on the left, and we turn our head again so that our chin chases the shoulder blade. In this spread knee Vajarasan with a twist, so it is called Triyaka Vajarasan. We start with Kapalbhati, where we do active exhalations, passive inhalations. This is how it goes. Seated comfortably in Vajarasan, the adamantine pose, with the hips resting on the heels behind you, knees spread apart. We place our left palm on our right knee. We twist completely to the right so much that the shoulders get parallel to the wall on the right. We then turn our head so that the chin chases the shoulder blade on the left. And we start Kapalbhati. Active exhalations, keeping our eyes closed, pulling the abdomen in with every exhalation. We make sure we are seated in Vajrasan, the adamantine pose, if we don't have any knee problems. Otherwise, we sit on a chair or on a bed or a sofa with legs extended straight. This is only for those who don't have any knee problems. And we start our Kapalbhati with active exhalation. So we are doing breaths of glory, that is pranayam with a twist, working on our breaths. In this category, I call the pandemic pranayam, clearing the nasal passages from deoxygenated air, pulling the abdomen in, building up immunity, pandemic pranayam. For those who've recovered from COVID and still don't feel they have the immunity, there is weakness surfacing. For those who want to make sure that no, they are never going to be attacked and we're never going to be in dis-ease, always going to be in ease, however much the surge is once again. Of any of those names that you hear, COVID to Omicron to whatever it may be. Make sure you're twisted well. Shoulders parallel to the wall on that side where you are twisted. And the head again turning back, chin chasing the shoulder blade. For those who are new to twisting, yoga with a twist, can you try to remember when you last twisted? We actually turned to take something from behind. We actually used revolving chairs in the office to grab something. We've forgotten how to twist, and twisting is extremely important to balance the secretions of the endocrine system's glands. The thyroid, the thymus, the pancreas, the pituitaries, the adrenals, the gonads, islets of Langerhans, everything is balanced with secretion so that we never come into a hypo or a hyper situation where it comes to thyroid, diabetes, that is insulin secretions, etc. It's our count. No teacher is going to decide kitne karne hain, how many you want to do. You will decide. You may be fresh enough to do many more, or you may feel the tiredness, the exhaustion, and want to take a pause and restart. It's you who's going to decide how much, how many, how much the twist. Only know that you want to be better than you were a previous time in your twist. Discontinue the practice to come back to the center. And in a spread knee Vajarasan, press your palms down on your mats in front of you, with the fingers pointing towards your groin. So your wrist is twisted well, so that we work on tennis elbow, we work on carpal tunnel syndrome, overuse of the phone, and hence the thumbs getting the well exercised twist. And we start with the panting dog pranayam. Swan pranayam. Make sure you inhale as well as you exhale. This swan pranayam heads is on top of the category of pandemic pranayam. Advanced students will also use the eye mudra called Agochari mudra or Nasagraha mudra. In Nasagraha mudra, we will look cockeyed towards the nose. In Agochari mudra, we will look cockeyed up towards the Bhumadhya, that is the eyebrow center. You choose. Certain impediments will come while doing the Swan Pranayam, especially if we are out of practice. Like coughs, clearing of the mucus from the throat, etc. Each one of us is keeping on showing off. I do my pranayam daily, I do my pranayam regularly, and is on their own trip about how much they do, how good their diet is, that they walk at the park, that they do their core strengthening and workout. And yet, so many of us often come out with discomforts, diseases, sinuses, coughs, colds, and COVID now, Omicron, once again to top them all. Here is one amazing, glorious way of breathing. Swan, that is the panting dog pranayam, breaths, bringing about ayam, that is constancy in our prana, that is vital life force. Prana. Pause whenever you wish. Restart once again. Make sure your inhalations are as active as your exhalations. Continuing to be in spread knee Vajarasan, Asan. Continuing to do the Swan Pranayam. Continuing to be in Nasagraha Mudra or Agochari Mudra. Now come into a chin lock, Bandh. Asan Pranayam Mudra Bandh. Asan Pranayam Mudra Bandh. Here goes. Jalandhar Bandh. Asan, pranayam, mudra, bandh. Spread knee Vajarasan Asan. Panting dog, that is Shwana Pranayam. Mudra, because we are in Bhumadhya or Agochari Mudra. Bandh, because we are in Jalandhar Bandh, that is chin lock. Swan Pranayam. Discontinue Swan Pranayam. Collect your knees. Sit comfortably in any seated posture. I have chosen to sit in Siddha Yoni Asana, where the heel is almost into the groin and the toes are in the fold of the knees. We come into Vayu Mudra, where we press the index finger with the thumb pad. The other three fingers are open and we rest our knees on our, we rest our wrists on our knees. With spine upright, shoulders tucked back, eyes gently closed. In Vayu Mudra, we consciously take awareness of cool air going into the nostrils and warm air coming out. So now we are watching the ayam in our prana. We are not changing our breaths into any breath control or pranayam. To prepare for the bellows breath, Bhastrika. Of the three humors, Vata, Pitta and Kapha, we balance the Vata humor with this Vayu Mudra as we sit in Siddha Yoni Asana. To start with Bhastrika Pranayam. Inhale actively, exhale actively. Pump your lungs with oxygenated air on inhalations. Empty your lungs from deoxygenated air on exhalations. Inhale, exhale. This is called Bhastrika. Keep a rhythm, the bellows breath. Literally showing off. My breath is better and bigger than yours. My breath is more resonant than yours. Reverse asthma, reverse bronchitis. Cease fibrosis of the lungs from increasing. Check on those nodules. Next time you go for that checkup, notice the difference. Express gratitude. The fact that we all woke up awake and alive this morning itself calls for celebration. And what better way to celebrate than with Bhastrika Pranayam? Let's make this into a sthul to sukshma, intense to softer. Since we are all in Vayu Mudra, we are currently not using our arms. This Bhastrika Pranayam has innumerable benefits. Pump your lungs using even the lowest lobe of your lungs. With that fresh, refreshing, rejuvenated, oxygenated air. There is no reason for procrastination. There is no excuse for not having the time or not being in a place or a situation when we've heard enough and known enough testimonials of how people made it possible. Bhastrika Pranayam bellows breath can be done sitting, standing, lying down, on the runway, on the way somewhere, in a journey, in the car. While being hospitalized, God forbid, while being in the lift, even while driving a car, all we have to do is breathe in a rhythm, inhaling fully, exhaling completely. We will realize that every excuse we made for not doing our breaths of glory was so average, so ambi, so vaya, so useless, when we realize that this particular breath can be done just anywhere, anytime, while doing anything. And it is one of the topmost, the best for the pandemic pranayam category. If no one gives you this guarantee, come to me, I will. There are never any contraindications to any pranayams if you are becoming your own guru. Intensify it when you can, mellow it down when you can, move from sthul to sukshma, that is strong and aggressive, to gentle and subtle. Discontinue Bhastrika Pranayam. Notice certain situations that may surface if we overdid it. For example, there could be slight dizziness, slight emptiness in the head, slight situation of vertigo. It's speaking out loud that we did it a little beyond our capacity. And hence, with regular practice, with our this daily drive, we make sure that we practice it unflinchingly, daily, with no excuses. That's what we just did. Pandemic pranayam, Bhastrika. We've discontinued it for a while. We are watching our breath. We're noticing open nostrils, we celebrate. We just filled our lungs several times, we celebrate. We emptied them from deoxygenated air, we celebrate. We just worked on our respiratory system and our circulatory system. Because now that blood is pumping in oxygenated air into every tendon, nerve, ligament, cell, muscle, bone, working to the deepest part of our being, our skeletal system, working for RA, rheumatic arthritis, osteopenia, rheumatism, arthritis. What we just did was beyond pandemic pranayam. After hearing so many genuine benefits of Bhastrika pranayam, we have no reason, no excuse to postpone, to procrastinate. No way. Continuing to stay in Vayu Mudra, one of the important mudras in pandemic pranayam, one which balances the humors, one which removes excess air element from the body. We move on to where the swab test is done, the throat pit, the RT-PCR, all the way in at the throat. We contract that muscle at the glottis, at the epiglottis, at the larynx, making a sound in inhalations, making a sound in exhalations, to do another celebratory breath called Ujjayi. Inhale fully, making it a Galaswasan, bringing in oxygenated air as you drag it in through the throat pit into the lungs. Very soundfully. Exhale completely, throwing out deoxygenated air in your Rechaka. Exhaling soundfully. How does that sound happen? By contracting at the throat pit. Hear your sound. Be loud enough for someone passing by or sitting next to you to hear you celebrating Ujjayi. A beginner will do this with open mouth. Puraks and Rechaks. For those who are out of practice, we are as good as beginners. So if there are bubbles in the throat pit, it means we are out of practice. We are as good as beginners. And that's a shame. Because just like Bhasrika, Ujjayi is also a breath where we cannot be coming with any excuses. I didn't have the time. My responsibilities, my tiffin has to go. The family has to be given their tea. I have a staff problem, a major one. We have to just breathe in Ujjayi. We just have to rub oxygenated air in and out from the throat pit. How can we come with these ridiculous excuses? When we have had spouses of people lost in COVID, in air crashes, so many of them here, those who've been on a runway and are still practicing their pranayam, those who are taking their chemotherapy and logging in from hospitals, those who have to look after a parent right next to them on a bed and are still logging in because they want the energies to be together with this tribe. Let's first spread the goodness so that we become the role models and gift ourselves regularity. Ujjayi Pranayam is what we are practicing. Every excuse will seem too tiny when you hear these examples of these warriors, these stalwarts who have no excuse. The worst of all, I'm traveling. Do it in the car, do it on the flight, do it in the train, do it while you're walking if you're traveling on your feet. But do your breaths of glory regularly. Ujjayi is what we are doing, where we have to put the swab for the swab test while doing RT-PCR, inhaling soundfully, exhaling soundfully, Gala, Swasan. Rub well. If there are bubbles, it's sad. If there are sounds, it's sad. Not sounds of the Ujjayi breath, the bubbles turning into Raj Kapot Ujjayi. Sad because we are out of practice. While continuing to practice Ujjayi, let's open up the Vayu Mudra gently. To use our arms now in any variations. Ujjayi continues. For those of us who wish to do some weight loss to get a well-sculpted body, what I have done is continued sitting the way I was sitting. I've just spread my legs. I'm pointing my toes towards me so that I get a good stretch in my inner thighs. Why am I including this in pandemic pranayam? We stand for those few hours, we sit for those few hours, we sleep for those few hours, creating a lot of imbalance in the body. Call this body balance pandemic pranayam. Get some good stretch in your inner thighs, in your glutes, in your hamstrings by doing Chaki Chalanasana in Ujjayi. Pranayam infused yogasana. Pat yourself on the back for having the suppleness and don't complain. Just learn in case there is stiffness, there is rigidity. Smile and say, oops, I procrastinated. This too was simple. All I need is a floor to sit on and spread my legs and do the Chaki Chalanasana the way my grandmoms and great grandmoms did when they put those grains in the center of the big patthar so that it came out as atta. Be it wheat, be it bajra, the Chaki Chalan to feed the family, the falkas, the bajri rotlas, the breads that we wanted. Chaki Chalan. Some of us, myself included, were fortunate enough to see this in our Ghatkopar homes. There was a big patthar, another patthar on top, a wooden huge danda, and that's how they went. The grandmoms, the great grandmoms. Let's work on this twist. No excuse of back problem or nothing. In fact, back problem will disappear if you do this. Discontinue Chaki Chalan, discontinue Ujjayi to finish off now with a run through. Sit comfortably in the lotus pose Padmasana. From spread legs, bring the legs back into Padmasana, the lotus pose. And twist well. To restart Kapalbhati, pulling the abdomen in for your exhalations. Other side. Add inhalations to this. Other side. Add Ujjayi to this. Other side. Then bring the palms in front of you. In this lotus pose, tongue sticking out, eyes in Nasagraha, counting in reverse order, only 11 Bhastrika. Infused with Swan Pranayam, 11. Asan, Pranayam, Mudra, Bandh. Discontinue everything. Stay seated in the lotus pose, Padmasana. Bring a smile because we invested in these 35 minutes celebrating breaths, opening up blocked nostrils, pandemic pranayam, rubbing inhaled and exhaled air in puraks and rechaks in our throat pits, pumping our lungs with oxygenated air, emptying them for deoxygenated, all infused with asanas in a twist, spread legs, and upright spines. Do a good round of palming now. Rub the palms thoroughly. Emit energies, urja. Catch them on closed eyes. Open and close your eyes in darkness. Slowly open your eyes and rise. Thank you all. Hari Om Tat Sat.